I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're diving into a transformative journey with an amazing author. Her name is Charlene Sears Tolbert, and she has penned an inspiring book. It is called Look for the Purple. This enlightening guide offers a pathway to emotional freedom, helping readers break free from fear and limiting beliefs. Join us right now as we explore how to reprogram your life and find pure, unconditional, real, and perfect love everywhere. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put her in the spotlight today, and we ask viewers like you to support authors like her by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing her remarkable book. The links are below this interview. Charlene, great to see you here today on Spotlight.
It is great to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. I love the acronym PURPLE. Um, Explain to folks at home what that's all about and why you came up with it.
So, as you said, purple is an acronym for pure, unconditional, real, and perfect love is everywhere because truly it is. It's all around us. It always has been, no matter what our experiences were. Often we don't see it because we're not looking for it, but love is all around us. And it's actually my favorite color. I teach personal workshops, and a friend of mine, we were doing this exercise, and he asked everyone in the room to look around and count the number of brown items. And I'm going to ask your viewers right now to just look around wherever they're at and count the number of brown items that they see right now, wherever they are in these few seconds. And now I'm going to ask them to close their eyes and then tell me how many purple items did you see? And so
Um,
usually when I do that, people will say, wait, I didn't see any purple items. I was looking for brown. And often there's usually purple items right there or other colors that we don't see because we're not looking for them. In fact, most of your viewers right now probably counted 10 and burgundy items for brown. They was looking for anything that could fit into that brown spectrum that they were looking for, right?
right.
It's a great example of how our brain works. We see what we are looking to see. The purple is always there. Beauty is always there. We don't see it if we have a preconceived notion that we're looking for something else. And that's how I came up with the title of the book.
Well, that's great. Purple's my favorite color also. I just find it, an exotic color, a sexy color, a fascinating color, a different color. It's beyond the basic colors. It's not primary, which
Right.
I think is what makes it wonderful as well. And of course, your acronym is about finding love. And there really is. There's people there with great hearts everywhere. You just have to seek them out and avoid the
Mm-hmm.
people who are just takers and look for the people who are givers or looking to have a mutual relationship where
Absolutely.
there'll be some give and take, right?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
People's limiting
Absolutely.
beliefs get in
And
the
I'm a
way.
firm believer that mhm,
Oh, go
mhm.
ahead. You're a firm believer.
Absolutely. And this, yeah, I'm a firm believer, and the book is really about helping people to change their algorithm, right? It's just like if we're looking for certain things on the computer, most of our news that we see on our computer is based on our algorithm. That our the algorithm know whether or not we're a Democrat or we're a Republican. It knows what our belief systems are and what they're not, right? And it's going to show us what it knows our algorithm is. Life is the same way. If we believe that the world is doomed and going to hell, then that's what we are going to see everywhere we look. If we believe people can't be trusted, we literally draw those experiences into our lives.
That
And
is,
and, and I know from my I'm
from
sorry.
what? Go ahead. There's a little delay, so I'm
I know
stepping
from
on
my
you.
own
I didn't
personal
mean to. You
experience,
were
like,
saying from your own personal experience, what?
I know from my own personal experience that to be true. And one of the reasons why I felt compelled to write this book, and compelled because I know that we can change our limiting belief. I come from a background of horrific trauma, horrific abuse. I've had all kinds of experience in my life that probably could have doomed me for death or an insane asylum. I've been suicidal, on the brink of death. And the principles in this book help me to transform my life. Today, I truly do live a life beyond my wildest dreams, beyond anything I could ever have asked or imagined. And I want to help other people be able to do that as well.
What did you do to create the life that you always wanted to live and always wanted to have?
So I began to, first of all, understand and recognize where I was at. Like I'm a firm believer we can't move from a place we're not at, and acknowledging where we were at. And my life ended up, I ended up at a bottom that I couldn't even imagine myself being at, addicted to drugs, suicidal. I had been in physically abusive relationships. I wanted to die, and I hit a bottom. And it was really other people began to speak life into me because I didn't have the ability to speak it into myself, to tell me that I was worthy, to tell me that I was good, to tell me that I was valuable. And it took me a while for those to become my beliefs, right? And I had to begin to change my thought process and change my belief system about myself and about my world. And when I began to look at my life from using, because one of the things, our belief systems live in that old part of our brain, that reptilian brain, that brain that we developed between ages birth and age 6 or 7. And our old belief don't have a lot of new information. So I had to engage my cognitive reasoning brain with new real information. Like, wait a minute, is that really true? Am I really a horrible person? Am I really a bad person? Am I really, wait a minute, that's not true. So my father abandoned me, but was that me, or was that my father decision? Right? So really beginning to question the experience in my life, utilizing my adult cognitive reasoning brain and utilizing real evidence. So this book is about the brain science, real science, like how our brain works. It teaches people to engage their cognitive reasoning brain because most of our belief systems and our emotions are about 6 years old.
Absolutely. What are some of the practical steps or exercises from your book that readers can begin implementing today to transform their lives?
And that I'm glad that you brought that up because I do offer practical evidence-based exercises to begin to retrain your brain. Free form writing is a mindfulness practice where you sit and you use a prompt, such as what I know truly to be real or what I'm really afraid of, and you write for 3 minutes straight. Free form writing, not thinking about anything but what you're writing, to help process and clear out some of the thoughts in our brains, to open up room to reach your cognitive rational brain. And so writing, making a list of what your belief systems are, what are some of the experience that created the beliefs, looking at early childhood experience, those adverse experience, how did you get those beliefs? And then begin to examine them. So I use an acronym: false evidence appearing real, which is fear, right? Most of our fears are based on false evidence. It appears to be real because we've told ourselves that it's real. I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough. I'm not lovable. Something's wrong with me. It appears to be real. And so in the book, I give readers exercises where they can begin to challenge those beliefs, that false evidence, with real evidence. Is that really true? Really challenge it. Where did it come from? When did you first have that thought? Who gave that to you? And just because the people in our lives, whether it was parents, ex-spouses, treated us unfairly or treated us wrong, don't mean we're wrong. Usually people are acting out of their own pain and their own trauma. And that's why they're treating us the way that they're treating us. And so there are some clear exercise to help retrain the brain.
Great advice. Change the way you think, and you will change your life. It's so
Absolutely.
important. It's so important to rewrite the scripts that are written for us as children. You might have been told you're dumb,
Yes.
you're ugly, you're stupid, you're worthless, you'll never amount to anything, whatever it is.
Yes.
Get those thoughts out
Change.
of your heads. And like you said, look at the real evidence around your life, that you are creative, that you are productive, that you are a worthy person, that you are beautiful.
Yes.
All of it is great, great advice. I think it's going to really transform lives. Before we leave you today, tell us a little bit about your work working with others as a therapist.
And so I consider myself as a transformative healer. I spent probably the last almost 40 years working with others in the role of therapist, life coach. I worked as a psychology professor for about 10 years, teaching various psychology courses. I feel that because of my experience, this is my life's purpose. This is my reason for being on the planet. This gives value to the pain that I experienced the first 20 some years of my life, all of my childhood trauma, everything makes sense. And I want to help people find purpose in their pain as well, because there is purpose in it. And so I feel like at this point in my life, my goal and my contribution to the planet will be to help others find purple, to recognize that no matter what situation you find yourself in, there is some purple in it somewhere. There is love, there is goodness. Look for it, open your eyes. If we're just looking for brown, that is all we are going to see. And we're going to call things that aren't even brown, brown, right? Look
Exactly,
for the
exactly.
purple. There's a rainbow of colors around you. Look for it.
I love your analogy of the algorithm as well. If your Facebook feed is fed with and filled with negative images, that's what you're focusing on because your Facebook
Yes,
feed knows what's going on up here. So
right.
fortunately, my Facebook feed is filled with dogs. So that's a good thing. Dogs,
Mine is
puppies,
cowboy
Jack
boots.
Russell Terriers. Yeah, absolutely. So
Yes.
fill your brain with something that gives you pleasure, gives you joy, puts a smile on your face, and reaffirms the value that you have as a person. Charlene Sears Tolbert has written a wonderful book. It's called Look for the Purple. It is an enlightening guide that offers a pathway to emotional freedom. It helps readers break free from fearing and limiting beliefs, and it will help you reprogram your life and find purple, pure, unconditional,
Yes.
real, and perfect love everywhere. Charlene, thank you so much
Yes.
for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Pleasure is all mine. I enjoyed our talk and I learned a lot. And like I said, a lot of the things you said today will stick with me for a while because they were spot on. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time. This time until next time on Spotlight.